Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Glasgow. But unfortunately, I'm still in Indonesia. So I'm the international officer for University Glasgow based in Indonesia. We have very excellent student now, Intan and also Nakita, who currently studying in Glasgow. So I'll give a shot to them to introduce themselves. Intan, perhaps?
Thank you so much, Alfin. Hello, everybody. I'm Intan, currently pursuing master degree in University of Glasgow, majoring media, communication, and international journalism.
And hi everyone, I'm Nakita. I'm currently taking international strategic marketing for master degree.
Okay, great. Just a very basic question that I always getting from the prospective student that I'm meeting in Indonesia. How you apply to Glasgow and why you choosing Glasgow? I know a lot of information that you're getting from other university as well, and they claim they are very academic excellent in ranking. How is a very big factor for you guys to choose University Glasgow? Perhaps start with Nakita first.
Okay, so about the how am I applied for to the university? So I will say that I was assisted by educational agent in Indonesia, and they guided me through the entire process about the registration process, the about completing the documents until I got the letter of acceptance, and also for the visa process. And why I chose Glasgow? Honestly, I applied to three universities in the UK, and this is might be a silly answer because I would say I one of the reason why I choose Glasgow because of the Harry Potter vibes and the building. So that's the one of the reasons. But other than that, I believe that University of Glasgow has a very academic excellency because I'm taking marketing and it is under Adam Smith Business School, which is very popular in the UK. So that's why I believe that my degree after graduated from University of Glasgow will be recognized as I graduated from this prestigious business school in the UK.
Okay, perhaps now Intan.
Okay, so actually, I was working as a journalist before because I was working as a journalist. I really, really want to continue my master degree in journalism, while at the same time, I want to focus on understanding more about media and communication. So I focus on these three syllables to study in the UK. And across the UK, the only universities that provide these three courses under one major is two universities. And after I did my research regarding the international excellence, the reputation, and then what they offer, especially because I'm very practical. I understand that as I'm very practical person, I want to do something that is more field work than doing dissertation. And University of Glasgow provides that. That's the first reason. I mean, of all universities, University of Glasgow is the best because it really matches what I really want to pursue in the UK. And second, after all, UK is like the international destination. If people want to go to study, one of the top three countries that they want to go, of course, that will be UK. And as I'm a Muslim, I'm wearing hijab. I will be looking for a country that is more friendly to Muslim. In my perspective, I feel more secure and safe and more welcome. And looking for a country as well that has more Indonesian, for instance, in the city itself. So Glasgow is one of the perfect destination for me. That's why I'm going to University of Glasgow.
Oh, great. That's very excellent reason. I think the most reason for probably related to the Muslim society, I guess in Glasgow we have Kibar, yeah, Kibar, and the important thing as well that we have the biggest mosque in Glasgow. I know the first one is Edinburgh, but I think the biggest one is in Glasgow. And of course for Nakita, because you doing the subject or program under the Adam Smith Business School, there are a lot of business school in the world, but it's only one school, University of Glasgow, who can just use the Adam Smith Business School. So I think that's the point, really important. Okay, so the next thing is probably is really important to getting along with how will be the Indonesia Student Society will be help you guys to really settle when you're coming to Glasgow. Perhaps any story that you want to share? Perhaps start with Intan.
Okay, sure. So in my experience, it's quite interesting, I think, for me, because I did my exchange program before, and I did everything on my own because I didn't have like seniors who studied there. But in here we have like a very big Indonesian society, Indonesian community, Indonesian students, Indonesian diaspora who lives here. So I got no problem at all to contact them about, like, for instance, very small things, property. Because when we live in one place, we hope that we can settle everything, including the properties, as you can see right behind me, for instance, and then the clothwear, because we are from a very hot country. Indonesia is like 30 degrees every single day, but in here it's pretty cold. So I don't really like prepare everything from my back home country, but I ensure that I can get everything the moment I got here. But because the Indonesian community is very inclusive, is very, very big, so I got a problem with in touching with Indonesian people in here, Indonesian seniors in here who's currently studying in here or even already settling, living in here. That's the first thing. And the second, I contacted to them. I mean, like, what kind of food should I prepare? I'm afraid that there are a lot of things that I can't have in here in Glasgow, because after all, it's the West, it's not the East like Indonesia. And they said, don't forget, don't worry about that. Not don't forget, but don't worry about that. We have like almost everything in here, like 90% of all the things that you're looking for in Indonesia, you will find it in here. It's simply just something that is very too local, that you may be so hard for you to find it in Indonesia, in other cities that is not your home cities, for instance, like that. So you can bring it to Glasgow. That's what I said. And in terms of like the medicines, I asked them, I mean, like, I have this certain conditions, is it like going to be so hard for me to find medicines in here? And they said, no, 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 even some medicines in here much more potent, even though we are from two season countries, so you don't have to worry about everything. That's what I said. I mean, when I firstly arrived in Glasgow, I don't really feel like I'm somewhere else, because there are so many Indonesian in here. That's what I really feel. So I don't really feel like I'm in a strange land, because everything that I need, even I meet a lot of Indonesian people, Malaysian people, Southeast Asian people, so I can speak daily in Bahasa like that. So everything is so nice in here.
Oh, great. And Nakita?
Yeah, so I really agree with Intan as she mentioned that this society is very helpful in terms of the accommodation because in for Indonesian Student Society we have this each certain dedicated group for someone for students who looking for accommodation here for the future students who are going to come to Glasgow and then they're looking for accommodation. So we have this dedicated WhatsApp group. We also have this big WhatsApp group for all the Indonesian students who studying in Glasgow. And also one of the point that I would like to highlight that they always have the events, the gathering, where all the Indonesian students will gather together for the any occasional event or like just to have this winter like how to survive with the winter. So I think it's very helpful all the events that they hosted in Glasgow to connect us with all of the previous students who studied or the diaspora or like all of the dependents. So that's very helpful about this Indonesian Student Society.
Yeah, I believe so. Not only for all the students already in Glasgow, but somehow the student that really willing to apply or maybe just receiving an offer. Sometimes the question is really difficult for me to answer. And luckily, because Indonesian Student Society or PPI Greater Glasgow is always helped me so much in terms of the budget briefing or maybe in regard the question with family matters. So they just ready for us. So thank you for PPI Greater Glasgow. So just for the next question, I think it's accommodation. Some students really quite heavy question about which accommodation they want to choose, especially when they got family will be bring to the study as well. So what will be the best? Is it on campus accommodation? I know we don't have on campus accommodation. It'll be around the campus. Is it and also managed by the university? What would be the best recommendation from you guys to really give to Indonesian? Is it private or accommodation managed by the campus? Perhaps Intan.
Okay, so actually applied for student accommodation at first, but I couldn't secure any accommodation because I applied like so late, just before like a month, I guess, a month or 2 months before my my arrival in Glasgow. So I thought because of that, people already like warring, like ticket war. They already applied in advance. That's why they can secure it in advance. So I didn't do it before. But at first I thought that, oh my God, this is gonna be a problem because I should live in a private accommodation. But actually it depends on the opportunity and what you decide to choose. Like for instance, in my experience, because I really want to live with just Indonesian students so we can share a lot of things, including cooking together. We have a lot of similarities simply because we are Indonesian. So because of that, private accommodation is much more preferred because we can select our flatmates, we can contact the landlord directly and then wanted four of us to stay together in one flat, which is good. But of course, student accommodation has its own perks. Everything is already included, everything is systemized, which is you don't have to worry if there's something wrong because they will be taken care of like immediately. It's systemized, so everything is already arranged. But for private accommodation, sometimes there are a lot of things, including student councils, and there are a lot of things that you should handle it on your own, perhaps to the level that you should pay for your bills by your own. In my case, fortunately, I don't have to pay any bills. My payment, my rent fee is all included for a whole month. But for certain private accommodations, of course, you need to pay every bill separately, which is kind of okay. By doing it on your own, everything, it's gonna be like a lot of things that you have to do in my case. So depends on what you're looking for. And basically, if you're looking for private accommodation, of course you're gonna be like living with your family or friends. So I think private accommodation is more suitable options. But if you're looking for something more suitable, more systemized and everything, student accommodation is much more the best option, I think.
Okay, thank you. Nakita.
Okay, so I think almost all the information have been mentioned by Intan about the comparison between student accommodation and private accommodations in terms of like uh, all the things have been handled if you live in a student accommodation, but some of the private accommodation you have to handle on your own. But the things that I would like to highlight also about the comparison between the student and private accommodation would be maybe if you want to be in a situation or in a surrounding where is more diverse, like international students, I would suggest student accommodation because mostly all the international students living there, and they have sometimes they have this specific events for each accommodation, so you can connect and meet other international students. So if you are someone who want to come to Glasgow and then like would like to make new a lot of international friends, probably student accommodation will be the best choice for you because also some of student accommodation they have these classes like yoga classes, a lot of activities for student accommodation actually. But yeah, back again for the private accommodation, maybe some of us especially like Muslim, we have this food limitation. We eat halal meat and other things like that. So we are afraid that if we share the kitchen tools or other than that with other people who didn't eat halal, so that's our concern for some of Indonesian who prefer private accommodation. So yeah, it depends on your preference for this accommodation basically.
Okay, thank you, Intan and Nikita. Something that I want to highlight as well for all the people, all the students who wants to apply to Glasgow, when you got the LOA still in conditional offer or conditional status, is really to encourage you to really see and now try to apply for the accommodation very early in April if possible. I know a lot of challenges, but I think to get a few about the accommodation profile and everything quite early in April is will give you very quick decision at the end when it's really closer to the intake. Okay, so the next one will be about life in Glasgow. Wow, I know a lot of been happening in Glasgow. We have a new building, James Newton Smith, Adam Smith Business School. What else did I forgot to mention? Advanced Research Center, and I think they are about mathematics building. I forgot to mention that. I think it's about 4 or 5. The next building will be coming up in Glasgow. What will be the best spot for you guys to study, or maybe the facilities in Glasgow to really have the self studying? Nakita.
Okay, so I love this question because I love to explore all the study spots at the university, and especially my one of the favorite spot at the university would be at the Advanced Research Center, the ARC, because it's the place where it's not really noisy and not really quiet, so it's a perfect place for me, especially. So I will say that at the university there's a lot of study spots where you can find based on your preference. So if you are a person who love quiet place, you could go to the quiet room. Even at the library, they also have postgraduate quiet rooms. So only for postgraduate students who can enter the rooms. And also, if you like a place where it's a little bit noisy, you can go to James McKeown Learning Hub. So there's a lot of learning hub in the university, which I think you could just explore. And the other thing about the other facilities would be the sport building. I love the gyms, the university gyms. I used to have a membership there, and once I got a membership, they have also a lot of free classes that you could join. So that's the two my two favorite facilities about the university.
Okay, great. Intan.
So because I like the student hub that I don't have a class in it. Like for instance, in the library, okay, there are some like for instance, study learning with my friends that I'll be doing it there. Like the main building, there are a lot of classes that I had there. In other buildings, for instance, like Adam Smith building and other buildings, Adam Smith Business School buildings, I have classes there. So I'm looking for student hub that is not that I don't have any classes there. And the best spot that I truly like because it's very modern for me is James Macon Smith GMS building. I think it's very modern, and if I want to talk with friends, I mean, without any limitations, I can go to the space that it is quite crowded. I mean, like it's quite noisy because people can talk there. But if I'm looking for a place that is very quiet, there is quiet room in level 5. So basically, everything that I need is well provided there. That's it in my experience. And then for the musola, the mini mosque that we like a prayer room. I'm sorry, a prayer room because we need to pray 5 times a day. And the prayer room in James McCune Smith is quite nice, and it's not that big, but it's quite accommodated. I mean, like it accommodates what I need. So basically, everything that I really need. Like most all of it, even when I'm hungry, I can go downstairs to eat. If I want to do a lot of things, it's well provided there. Even I can do the printing there. And there are a lot of students there. Most of my friends as well prefer to go to the GMS building rather than all the building. So yeah, we love to go to the GMS building, and that's my favorite spot for studying actually.
Great, excellent, excellent. I know that people make Glasgow. They got the slogan "People make Glasgow," right? So how is affect your experience when you're studying in Glasgow? I think it's almost about a year. Don't you really comfort with the situation and the community as well? Because I know we also have like a museum at the main building, and also we have the Calvin Group's Arts Gallery, which is quite also to study sport and also have a great coffee there. What do you suggest and what do you comment about that? Probably Nakita.
Okay, so I will say it's about the surroundings. It's really great, and I love the this postgraduate cafe at the university. I love the coffee, and I think it would be the cheapest one there. And about the community here, I think for students, there's a lot of societies and communities that you could join where you can meet the local or even international students. So if you love to make new friends, there's a lot of opportunity here for you to try. And the people here, I think it's everyone know that the people here are very friendly. So don't worry guys about coming here to Glasgow. And also I think one of the thing that people might be worried about is the Scottish accent, Glasgow accents. So don't worry because you will be how do I say, like you will be used to it. Because at first by the time I came here also, like it's very hard for me to understand what they say because sometimes they talk very fast, but at the end like quite understand what they say. So yeah, I love Glasgow. They are so a lot of friendly and kind people here.
Okay, Itan.
Okay, so talking about student communities in here, there are hundreds of student communities here, whether you're dancers or maybe you're readers or maybe love doing sports or yoga or pool dancers. There are a lot of student communities here. You can choose wherever that suits your vibe, that more connected to you in terms of the student community. And talking about the Scottish accent as well, I agree with Nakita. I so agree with Nakita that it was so hard at first to really understand Scottish, but if people said that I don't want to go to Scotland because the accent is pretty bad, that's not the answer. Because talking about accent, wherever you go, you get used to it. I mean, I got a problem at first to really, really understand the Scottish accent, but it takes me just a week to really, really comprehend and connect to what they say simply because I live with them. When you live with those people, you will know what they say, even though they speak something very, very fast or even very, very subtle, but simply because you already live with them, you know what they say. That's what in my experience, talking about the Scottish accent. And I got a problem. I mean, of course, not really understand the whole things, but at least I can speak, I can mingle with a lot of Scottish people. And yeah, I agree with Nakita as well. It's very warm people in here. People are so kind. From the very first time I arrived in here, I need to take the public transport to go to somewhere with subway. And the people in the subway that help me, not my Indonesian friends who are somewhere around, but the people that I met there, they help me to go to the place that I'm looking for. Because sometimes when you're in the subway, the connection is gone. So that's why you need people to help you, not the connection to help you, or Google Maps, for instance, to help you. So basically, I got a problem to live here. I'm so enjoying my time in here. And then in term talking about the museums that you were mentioning before, it's so beautiful everywhere you go. It has its own classical style, I can say, a Calvin Grove Museum and Hunterian museums, and there are a lot of museums in here. You can explore your experience, explore your interest by going to so many places because there are so many amazing attractions in Glasgow, and people don't get really bored by staying here. That's why people so enjoying to live in Glasgow. That's my answer.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with all the comment. Just I think want to go on to the next question. Um, in terms of this Scottish culture, how is it difficult when you really want to buy? For example, we go back to the food about the halal food or the halal butcher. Is it really difficult for you guys to find? Because what happened if I come to Glasgow, I also finding a bit challenging to go out because a lot of meeting is really done between building to building. So what happened then? I just asked in the Indonesia group to provide me for Indonesian catering. So I got a lot of week of menu that I want to set up for the whole that I'm visiting for 1 week. How you guys really face this experience differently from my side?
So about finding a halal made halal food in Glasgow, it's not that hard. At first, I was thinking also it would be hard to find halal food here. But when I came here, and then also because I joined the Indonesian Society WhatsApp group, they all sharing all the informations. Even they have the halal food, halal restaurants list. They all list all the halal restaurants here. So surprisingly, there's a lot of halal restaurants here in Glasgow that you would find. And also about the halal butchers, or like the supermarket, there's a lot of halal supermarket also around campus. So that it's not hard to find a halal food here in Glasgow.
Okay, I don't think that's quite an issue to find a halal food in here because Indonesian society in here, Islam society, Muslim society in here are pretty huge. It's not just from Indonesia or Southeast Asia, but from South Asia, from India, from Pakistan, and from Arabs. There are so many Muslims in here. So talking about finding halal food, it's not an issue in my experience. Not just when you're looking for a restaurant for you to go to have a dine in, but simply when you want to do the groceries, go to the uh, grocery stores, it won't be a problem. It's not hard for you to find halal food even if there's no halal sections where you can find halal meat. At least the vegan food is everywhere. So when we're talking about halal, of course it's not about just okay meat and it's meat, but there are a lot of meat option. For instance, like vegan meat is not a meat, but like a meat basically, but it's not from meat. So you can find it in here as well, and the taste is so same in my experience. So basically, talking about food, when people ask, is it so hard for you to live as a Muslim in Scotland, where basically Scotland is not like maybe a Muslim country? That's what I said, and I said no. There are so many Muslims in here. You can find halal butcher like everywhere, even in a big grocery stores. You will find halal sections there, and you can find a lot of halal food. That's the first about the halal. It's not that hard to find from the groceries to the restaurant. And the second is about the taste itself. I agree to the fact that the Scottish food is quite bland. It's bland in my tongue because I'm Indonesian. I love spicy from 1 to 10. My level will be at 10. That's how fascinating myself to the spiciness and everything about the strong taste of food, like most Asian do. Like the way for me to deal with it, I always bring my sauce like everywhere, and it's not really hard to find. When you go to a lot of stores in Glasgow, you will find it. And when I dine in somewhere in the restaurant, of course I will take that and put it in the food. That's maybe the way for me to mingle with the standard food in here. But talking about the taste itself, when people said that, oh, so you're gonna be like bringing every the sauce and the paprika everywhere you go because the food is very bland. No, the moment you live in one place, I believe that your taste will be adapt. You will adapt to the taste there. So right now, okay, I'm a huge fan of spicy, but it's not that hard for me to eat like Scottish food. That maybe for some people when they first arrive here, it's quite bland, but I'm getting used to it. Not because it's not nice, but because it's already mingled to my tongue. Simply like that. Adaptation makes you feel better to live in one place. That's my answer, I
I
guess.
agree. Yeah. I'm actually just to add a little bit to that. Like, I really agree about the spicy tolerant here. I'm not a person who loves spicy, but when I came here and then they say that, oh, this is spicy or extra spicy, and then when I try, it's not even spicy for me. So I became, someone who loves spicy. So that's, yeah, I agree with Intan.
Okay. The scale of spicy is quite different we compared to Indonesia scale and Glasgow's.
And actually, there are a lot of Chinese stores in here who sell something that is very spicy. Chinese, Japanese, and Korean stores, Korean restaurant that sells the food that basically what we find in Indonesia. So basically, it's just in, like, for instance, I'm from Jakarta. So exactly like in Jakarta, like the food in here. So it's not really different. It's not something that, oh my God, I'm living in Glasgow, something really happening to me. No, it's, it's very, very normal, guys. Just come here and you'll find out.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Intan. Thank you, Intan. Okay, so the next question will be about the funding opportunity. I know when people just hear about studying in UK, they thought it's very expensive cost to be covered for the tuition fee and then also the living costs. How you guys really get support from the financial side? Is it from the scholarship or the self funding? Because I know Indonesia has been, I would say, is very generous with the scholarship. From 2010, they're starting with what they call endowment fund (LPDP). They're giving to Indonesian students to study abroad, including Glasgow. And I guess about 2024, uh, last year, the data shows that more than 150 students studying at the University of Glasgow are funding from the LPDP or the Indonesian government. How you guys see yourself in terms of funding? Probably Intan.
Okay, so I studied in Glasgow with Indonesia Endowment Fund for Education, Indonesia Endowment Fund for from LPDP scholarship. I studied with that scholarship, but at first I thought that I have no idea whether I'll be selected for the scholarship or not. All I thought at first, I want to study in Glasgow because Glasgow offers me a course that I'm looking for. That's why from 2022 I applied only focused to study in Glasgow. But at 2023, my friends recommended me to apply and join the selection for the LPDP scholarship, Indonesia Endowment Fund for Education scholarship. So I applied for it. But at first, if Pak Alfin, remember, I contacted you before. I said that, is there any tuition fee off, something like that, that maybe discount for the tuition fee? Because I would like to take it. So hopefully I don't have to pay a full amount with the achievement or something like that. And actually, University of Glasgow is really generous as well. There was 10,000 tuition fee off. Yeah, that was in my era when I applied for University of Glasgow, and I almost take it. But like a few weeks after that, I was awarded with the LPDP scholarship. That's why I took the LPDP scholarship and didn't take the scholarship offered by the university. So basically, talking about the of course, tuition fee is quite expensive. I mean, maybe when people think about UK with the currency and everything, it's quite expensive compared to Indonesia. But I've managed everything on my own before I decided coming to here, before I didn't realize that I got the LPDP scholarship. I thought that, okay, I got this 10,000 fee off. Okay, I can pay the rest with my money. And then the way for me to survive there, for instance, in Glasgow, okay, I can do part-time work. It's not really hard for me to find a part-time work in here. So I can do the part-time work, and then okay, maybe living in a student accommodation or a private accommodation that is quite close to the university is quite expensive. Maybe if I couldn't find the cheapest one, I can live in the private accommodation that is not so far from, not really close to the uni, but not that far. Even I live in a place that is very, very far from uni. The public transportation is very integrated. I mean, it's connected to one another, so it won't be a problem for me to mobilize from one place to another while I live in Glasgow. So I already managed everything. Even though I didn't get a scholarship, maybe I could live in a well managed budget in here, with all those measured calculation and stuff. But I got the LPDP scholarship, and my scholarship sponsored my study in here. So yeah, that's my experience actually.
Thank you, Intan. Nakita?
Okay, so in my case, I was awarded by the Adam Smith scholarship. So I got 10,000 discount off for the tuition fee. And I will say that, like, related to the first question of this podcast, that one of the reason also why I chose Glasgow, because they one of the university that offer big tuition fee discount, like the scholarship. So in my case, there are three different types of scholarship that offered by the university, from 5,000, 7,000, and 10,000, if I'm not mistaken. So, and luckily, I'm so grateful that I got the highest one, the 10,000 one. And also, if I'm not mistaken, at the university, there's also they also provide the service about these funding opportunities or scholarship that you could ask, and about the accommodation help. So there's a lot of things that being provided by the university. And about the scholarship, yes, that the university give you scholarship with the range of different amount of scholarship.
Okay, great, excellent. Just a quick question to Intan. So it means when you got a scholarship from LPDP, all the funding provided by them is really sufficient enough for the living costs in Glasgow. Is that correct?
In my experience, yes. Not really, really like I should cover it with my own budget. No. Even until now, I can live with LPDP scholarship only without really spending my own money. If I want to live luxurious, I mean, if I want to spend like very, very luxuriously, like extravagant, of course, I need to spend my own money. But in my experience, because managing budget is really important, and of course, I want to maintain like healthy life balance in here. In Jakarta, I ordered almost everything because I didn't live with my parents. My parents live like almost an hour from my place of work. So I realized that it's really important about the distance and everything. The traffic is so crazy in Jakarta. That's why I live so close to the working place. And because of that, I ordered like almost every food. I never cook at all. But in here, I understand that maintaining health balance means that you need to cook. You need to get used to the fact that eating healthy food, cooking and everything, it's very good for your health. That's why I started to cook. And of course, it's part of the way for me to do, to save more money, to do the budgeting in a very wise way. So yeah, I cook a lot, and then because of that, I can manage my money very well. I can travel to so many places in Scotland with that money, and I can support everything that I need. Like for instance, studying in journalism means that I at least need to have a camera. I had my own camera, but it's not quite supported because there are a lot of beautiful things in here. That is, I want new camera. So I bought it one, and I can cover it with my scholarship. So basically, LPDP scholarship is really, really supportive. Very, very good for my study in here, I can say.
Great, excellent. Yeah, just to add on about the scholarship from the government Indonesia, I think it still be continuing on for the next many, many years. So I suggest to all Indonesian students to keep it trying, to keep fighting to get the scholarship. And for example, for Nakita case, Glasgow is very generous. I
Yeah.
think among of the Russell group, we are the biggest scholarship amount that they can given for almost 10,000 pounds sterling. And I think for 2025, we will launching another scholarship scheme, which is it will be tuition fee waiver and also cover for accommodation, and we will give you also stipend 15,000 a year. So more info, just give me a contact or email.
Yeah. We want to let Indonesian student know how friendly Glasgow is for international
Yes,
students. Yeah,
agree.
it's so friendly. There are a lot of student accommodations, discounts, and of course, like transportation discounts, student discounts, like everywhere. In my
Yeah.
experience, it supports my life a lot. I want to buy things daily in a daily basis. I get student discounts for transportation, subscription, daily, monthly. I can get student discounts. There are a lot of student discounts which I'm not sure about any other area in the world, but in the UK, because it's really, really tourist and student friendly. So these student discounts help us to manage more our money more wisely. That's in my experience, actually.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. So the next question will be about how the obtaining for acceptance from us. I know from the website is already mentioned about a documentation needed and also required. But I think there are some document probably need to be also mentioned, or maybe need to be issued, or maybe you need to create those document. It's personal statement, I should say. How will be you really suggest to the prospective student about fulfilling all the documentation and choose the subject, choose the program, why they choose the program, and why is it better to choose the program related to other, and how is it fit to industrial trend for all the student who wants to wish to work in that field? How is it you recommend to all the prospective student? Intan, perhaps.
Okay, so in my experience, because I was working as a journalist, actually my undergrad is accounting. So it's not that related. It's exactly the opposite, accounting and media. But how do I for me to connect it? Talking about the personal statement that I proposed to the university, I always said it to my juniors, to anyone who asks me, focus on the connection, focus on the connection, everything about your experience that is connected and not connected to your course, proposed course that you would like to study. Please connected it. Like for instance, I had the experience, I had so many experience in dancing, in presenting, in accounting. So I just made a personal statement. I only mentioned everything that is related to presenting, because after all, I'll be studying in journalism. Journalism is all about reporting and talking. I'll be presenting as well. And then talking about media, I have the experience in media. I only mention about that. So basically, about connection is really important, even though you have a very, very remarkable achievement in certain field, but if it's not related to the course that you're going to go to study, it's better for you to not mention it, because there is the limitation for you to make your personal statement. So focus on the connection. And the second, of course, when they're talking about why you study in Glasgow, why you're choosing this university, this course, for instance, of course, you need to explain it based on your reason that is related to your experience and your previous achievements. So if you don't have any, like for instance, okay, I was working as a journalist, that's why I can explain everything that is so much related to my course that I would like to study. But there are so many students maybe that maybe like me, I studied accounting, but like directly want to study to journalism. So how do I for me to match my previous experience to the course, desired course that I would like to study? So I can relate it to my organization experience that is so much related to the journalism. Like for instance, maybe I always do the negotiation, which means it's part of the journalism as well. When you're doing journalism, of course, you need to negotiate a lot with society. And maybe you're handling social media. Of course, it's related as well with the course that I'm looking for. So basically, I'm explaining things, my experience from my organization, from my internship, or maybe from my achievement, that is only talking about journalism and media. That's my experience. And I always said this to my juniors, anyone who asks me about making a personal statement, the best personal statement for me to make, always talking about the connection. Don't mention anything, even though it's very, very amazing. If it's not related, don't have to mention it. It's not related. talking about relation here. That's my answer.
Okay, so I totally agree with Intan mentioning about the connection of what you have back in your from your previous experience and with the major that you are going to apply. But in my case, I don't have much experience. I take my master degree straight after I graduated from my undergraduate. So I just put all my organizations, volunteering activities, my internship experience to this personal statement, and I connect it with my major that I'm going to apply to, which is the marketing, international strategic marketing. And also because I believe that for marketing field, it's always revolving and updating and up to date. So just mention that what you want to do in the future with this field, what you are going to do after you graduated, once you got this degree, what you want to contribute to the society. So that's the thing that I mentioned in my personal statement also. And yeah, all the connections should be well prepared, and also I think the most important thing, just being genuine and be yourself, and like just giving personal reasons why you choose Glasgow and what you are going to do after you graduated from this university.
Yes, yes, absolutely agree. I think the personal statement is the key issue right now because most of the students want to switching the career, and I think there's the rights to switching the career, but I think the personal statement will be about connecting and trustworthy between industry they want to shift in. Okay, so the next question will be about the passion and hobbies. I know you learning so hard about all the program that you have. You're studying about the core units and also optional units. I'm sure you, other than you just studying for both field, you really want to really join with other club and societies, which is proven that what you learn is really applicable to societies and also club society. So Intan, just give me some example. Your degree is related with any club and societies that you're probably joining at Glasgow right now.
Okay, so at first, as I'm studying journalism, I applied for the TAP. It's like a journalism core community here in Glasgow. I started to like created articles, something like that for the TAP. It's the university's community, but then I realized that I'm more performer than a writer. In my experience, I perform all my life. So luckily, my careers convener, he's really helpful and really trying to help me mingle with the thing that I'm so connected to. So ever since she understands my condition, that I want to join a community that is quite related to my personality and my passion in performing. So she said that there will be a student content creator uh incoming opening vacancy that I can apply for. That's what she said. And it was around February, I guess. And I applied for it, and I really found like a community that as chatty and as vibrant as I am, that we always talk, we always perform. We're so like cheerful, I can say, easygoing. So yeah, it's easy for me to mingle, to live in Glasgow in a community that is so much, so connected to my passion as a performer, as a presenter. So yeah, actually talking about the way for me to connect it, my hobby is I'm looking for a community that is connected to how I like for instance, there are so many friends of mine, they love running. So there is this kind of like student society. I'm not sure what the name was, but it's about running and then doing the walking to the city together like that. And there are other friends as well, my friends as well, who loves to do the dancing. They're joining pole dancing, and there are a lot of performing there, Korean dancing, pole dancing. There are so many types of dancing, and the University of Glasgow is really supportive in terms of like opening the community that can help us to live well in Glasgow. In I mean, like I talked to my friends from the dancing community, and they said that they really love dancing, like K-pop dance, and there is that kind of community in here, a club that always performing K-popping and stuff. So, which is like the way for us to passionately living in here is the way for us to mingle with society well, and the way the moment we find the community that match our passion, it helps us to enjoy our life a lot in here. Yeah.
Totally agree. So, in my personal experience, so I joined this Enactus Society. So I think it's quite a big society, not only in Glasgow. So other area also have this Enactus Society, which is basically about business. They give events for business, career workshops, and something like that. Well, and talking about societies, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of communities, there's a lot of societies that you could join. Even it's not aligned with your degree, you could actually join. For marketing, there's bunch of communities that you could join, like, or maybe if you want to join sports societies, or like you're not from a marketing student and you want to join marketing society, I think that's also okay. So they're very open here about the societies and communities, and like everyone could just join. And also, I totally agree with what Intan said about the content creator. So I'm also one of the content creator at the University of Glasgow, and I found the society is very cheerful, helpful, and I enjoy it a lot. Feels like I'm not working for them. Feels like just like letting myself exploring about the content creation and a lot of things, and meet new people, and then like doing what I love. And also about the Indonesian Student Society, because I love creating content, and I love about this marketing related stuff. So I became one of the committee for Indonesian Cultural Festival, where I became a marketing committee member, where that I could find myself really enjoy about making campaigns and content creation. So there's bunch of opportunity that you could really explore here, even it's only a year if you are taking master degree. So yeah, there's a lot of things to explore here at the University of Glasgow.
Oh, good, excellent. I think there's one thing that I want to plan to have when you guys returning to Indonesia, especially you, Intan. I think we can set up the Indonesia Glasgow alumni running society. Because what happened right now, I'm also managing for Indonesia Alumni Association. So, which is there is a lot of bunch of alumni is really active in this association, and there are several of them also love to do jogging, and we create the jersey T-shirt, and we wearing the University Glasgow during the free day every Sunday.
Oh, fantastic, actually.
Wow.
So fantastic. You know what? I developed my hobby in running in here in Glasgow, not in Indonesia.
So let's
Yeah.
continue that then.
The first time also running 5K in Glasgow. So there's a
Wow.
lot of first thing that I tried here in Glasgow.
All right. Cool. Cool. Thank you. So expecting you come back later on to set up this thing happening. Okay. So we mentioned earlier that we have a very big and beautiful campus like Howard Castle, Harry Potter movies. Much more parents also concerned about the safety and how is it surrounding in the campus. Is there any system or maybe safety system that the management from University Glasgow created that student can use to really manage the expectation in terms of safety? Perhaps Intan can explore more a bit.
Okay, so talking about safety, I don't find it hard to secure myself, to save myself from anything that may be a bit dangerous to live here. When people say that Glasgow is quite hills, everywhere you go is gonna be hills, or maybe like Hogwarts or Harry Potter things and stuff. Is it gonna be safe for you to live here or even study here, or you wanna explore? Is it gonna be dangerous for you to go someplace that maybe there's no much people there? I don't find it like, oh my god, is there something going to be happening there? No, everywhere you go is very safe. I mean, like, talking about the system and everything in University of Glasgow, it's well protected, it's well managed. It's modern era after all. University of Glasgow is like world class university. Of course, everything is well guarded, well protected, well provided. In terms of the safety of itself, I don't think it's going to be an issue, it's going to be a problem or even challenging, because everything is so secure and safe in here. Talking about that, like security and stuff.
Excellent. Nakita?
Okay, so talking about safety, yeah, the safety around campus or even in Glasgow, I will say that I never feel, there's an issue about the safety. I agree with Intan, and also, uh, the University of Glasgow, they have this app. They have this application that you can download on your phone, which is Safety Zone. If I'm not mistaken, the name of the application is Safety Zone, where every time you feel, threatened, or you feel not secure, you could just click the button on the app. So it's very well systemized. Even the University of Glasgow, concerned about the safety, the student safety. So it's very safety here. It's very safe here, and it's very secure. Even when I like studied until night at the learning in the learning hub, and then I come back home like 10 p.m. or like 11 p.m. I'm still feel secure. So yeah, there's not really a big issue about the safety here.
Okay, great, excellent. Okay, so the next question will be, after you studying so hard and achieve the very high level, probably distinction or high distinction, and then you complete the degree, and you're probably starting to find a job, how will be effective for you guys really using the career services internship and employability hub in Glasgow? Can you just elaborate more about the system, about how they manage and how the feature of it?
Okay, so University of Glasgow has student career service. It's you can just simply subscribe it from the web, and then every day, maybe like few days a week, there will be emails coming to your account, to your email, that there will be there will be a lot of emails, bunch of emails coming to your inbox, like informing you about like employability availability, and then internship part-time availability. It's not really hard for you to, if you want to do internship or working in here while you're studying, or even you're looking for opportunities to work in here after graduation. It's well provided there, but of course don't limit your exploration only in one page. In my experience, University of Glasgow Glasgow Career Service is well provided in terms of the information that we need. They provide it, but of course I don't limit my exploration by just focus on the one page. Of course, I'm looking in the LinkedIn, I'm looking in the other like job boards that will help me to find the job that I'm looking for. So basically, in this era, you can find a lot of things in so many places. Just simply, you have to broaden your exploration when you're looking for job opportunities in here. And talking about job opportunities as well, even though you're looking for part time, maybe. Okay, about part time, maybe you need like local connection in order for you to secure work in cafe, in restaurant, or something like that, because we have like big Indonesian association in here, and even like there are a lot of association from other countries. As long as you maintain good relationship with them, they can give you recommendation, and then that recommendation can be used for you to work part-timely in here. In my friend's experience, because I just work as a student content creator, I don't work in any field. I work as a student content creator during my study in Glasgow. So my friends who work in the restaurant, they said that when you have good connection with one people, they will connect you to other people, and they will help you to work there by giving you the recommendation. So basically, talking about that is not really hard, as long as you can perform, like act well, act nice, don't do something stupid in order to not like compromising your performance, your image in in the public's perspective. So yeah, in my experience, it's not really hard for you if you're looking for job opportunities, whether for you to work after your study. And there are a lot of career events in here. There are a lot of career events. I wouldn't say it's just once a year, I wouldn't say it's twice a year. There are so many times in a year provided by University of Glasgow, not just career service event, but of course about well-being support. There are so many supports provided by University of Glasgow to enrich the experience of international student when they're studying in Glasgow. If you're talking about looking for opportunities, there are a lot of like spaces for you to find out about it. That's what I'm talking about. The spaces, the information, it's well provided. So yeah.
Excellent. Nakita.
Okay, so talking about the employability services, I agree that the university assists us in many ways, from the career events, career services. Like the workshop, there's a lot of like CV, cover letter workshop. You can even have this one-on-one session with the employability staff from the university to help you to tailor your CV, to give a feedback on your CV. the cover letter, and also even like I think lot of events happening at the university in terms of employability. A lot of companies coming to the university. They have the pop up, like stall at the university, and you could ask directly to them about the job opportunity, or maybe like for international student you are concerned about the visa sponsorship, so you could directly ask to them, to the employer. And even you could ask to the alumni who already got a job in a certain company that you are interested to apply for. So there's many ways that you could try and you could explore here about the employability services. And university is um, make sure that you could access all of these services here at the university.
Yep, agree. So I think the career services, internship, and employability is also under international student support. So all the student who really wants to get information about postgraduate visa, they can really get connected with them to find out about more how to get apply for the visa to stay and work in UK for another 2 years when you're finishing your degree, or probably for PhD for another 3 years. Is that correct, ladies? Yes, correct. Okay, so I think we've been talking for almost 1 hour. I need to wrap up all the discussion. And the last question will be, since you already create some very significant information in video or maybe from other platform, how you really suggest to the prospective student from Indonesia mostly to find out more for all the information you have? Is there any probably platform to the student to have a chat with any current student or maybe yourself? How will be the channel and how they can really reach you out more detail about the program and also University of Glasgow?
So for the information you could get from a lot of the website, obviously, and also you can talk to Unibody. University of Glasgow has Unibody where you can talk to them. Their Unibody is actually the current student here at the University of Glasgow that you could really ask about the student life here. And you could also like searching on LinkedIn, like for those who are studying at the University of Glasgow. For me, in my personal experience, I got a lot of questions through LinkedIn. They ask about the student life and also the website. And even for you Indonesians who are planning to apply to Glasgow, you could also contact at the Indonesian Student Society about the information of studying at the University of Glasgow.
Okay, I agree with Nakita as well. And this is digital era. Everything is well provided in the social media. Even though in the web, it is well provided. Unibody, it helps you to know more about University of Glasgow. But basically, when you talk to the Indonesian people who lives here, they will know more because they know the experience that you have simply because you were coming from the country that is the same country. That's why. So in my experience, I Google the not I Google I browse in the social media. I look for the university Instagram. In Instagram, there are a lot of information that is well informed. I can and find my answer in the Instagram and then also in the YouTube. In the YouTube, actually talking about a student accommodation. Okay, I need to YouTube watch the video first, then I'll find out. Okay, in this accommodation, the place is exactly like this. The surrounding, the ambience is exactly like this. If I want to go to one place to another, how do I for me to reach it? It's quite answer is very and I mean like everything is answered there in the YouTube that I'm looking for. And then about talking about how do I for me to secure a work while I'm studying here, internship, part-time, something like that. And there is also some of the answers that I find in the YouTube. And then sometimes when you're looking for something like that, you don't have time to read because in my experience I got a lot of things to do, a lot of things going on, so I didn't have time to really focus on reading a lot of things. So I just play the YouTube and they answer everything that I'm looking for. Like on that time I'm looking for student accommodation. And agree as well, like Nakita said, Indonesian Student Association in here are really helpful. When we chat them, they will answer our questions. Even in my experience, I made a lot of vlogs. I made a lot of vlogs for like student experience, student supports, how do I for me to maintain a study work life balance, I can say, the way for me to do the work while at the same time I can still do a lot of works, working part-time for Indonesia, working in here as student content creator, while at the same time I'm maintaining healthy life balance by doing the jogging, how the way for the environment to be really supportive, how the way for me to manage my time in order for me to complete everything, and how the way for Glasgow itself supports everything that I need. I explain everything in there. So basically, it's not really hard for you to find the life in Glasgow from Indonesian perspective, because we are working as a student content creator helps you to navigate everything that you're looking for based on our experience as Indonesian people. So yeah, just Google it. Find it in the YouTube or Instagram. We are everywhere. That's my answer.
Agree. Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah. In my experience, when you're going to University of Glasgow, furthering your exploration, furthering your research first. I mean, don't feel like studying overseas is gonna be like a lot burden for you. I mean, there are a lot of friends of mine who are studying in Indonesia. They said that they can't study abroad because they're afraid of the difficulties that they might encounter. Of course, like working over studying overseas, you need to sacrifice a lot of things in Indonesia. In my experience, I leave my job, I leave my clients. Like there are a lot of things that I leave behind. I left behind for work for studying in here. Of course, there are a lot of sacrifice that I made to continue my study in here. But this is technological era where everything can be assessed even though you are far away from home. I can do a lot of work even though I'm here in Glasgow, even though the job is from Indonesia, like for instance. So uh, studying of overseas is not about sacrificing a lot like what I believe at first. It's not like that. I can do a lot of things in here, even though I'm not in Indonesian physically. That's the first thing. And the second thing's about the way for me to cope with the like Muslim life. Maybe is it so hard for me to live in the West as a Muslim? No, it's not really hard for me. I'm wearing hijab, I'm wearing everything I want, I eat halal food, and it's not a problem at all. I deal with people and I don't find, maybe certain students in here experience racism. Maybe, I don't know. But in my experience, I never experienced any, because Glasgow is one of the friendliest city in the world. It's for fact, Glasgow is one of the friendliest city in the world. You will find people everywhere smiling, very kind everywhere you go. I'm mingling very well with my neighbors, even though they don't know who I really am, even though they know I'm Indonesian, for instance. We mingle very well in here with the society, with, and of course, Glasgow has so many foreigners. Indonesian students, Indian students, Pakistani, Arabs. There are a lot of people in here. So you don't really find that you're a stranger in here, because there are a lot of like foreigners in here. And the people are really kind. So it's easy for you to mingle and everything. So you just come to Glasgow and you'll find out. That's
Yeah,
my
see. I
yeah.
think the last sentence will be, don't be afraid to ask and explore, but all the informations, everything all on the internet, and we are looking forward to welcoming you to the University of Glasgow.
Okay. Well, thank you so much to giving all the information. I think we've been spending more than 1 hours. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much, Intan Nakita. Best of luck for your studies. I hope all the Indonesian students who coming for the next intake will be so much helpful for this session. And I'll see you in Glasgow very soon. Probably I'll visiting Glasgow in next year. And see you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you guys.